Alright, ladies and genitalia. The Cruiser Bruiser here for another moto vlog. Just got done changing my exhaust for probably about the at least 10th or 12th time on this bike. I have yet to really find something I like a lot. I've gone through 2 different sets of drag pipes, actually 3 different sets of drag pipes, a couple of sets of slip-ons, and I have decided just to go back to the stock head pipes with the crossover pipe and the slip-ons that originally came on the bike. That's just where most of the power is. I've tried several different things, kinds of drag pipes. You know, drag pipes are good on high end, but low end is kind of crappy. And low end is what I need, you know, somewhere between like 2,500 and 3,500 RPMs. That's a lot of my cruising speed that I just need to gun it at sometimes. I don't feel like riding it, you know, 4,000, 5,000 RPMs everywhere I go. Turn already, damn it. But yeah, so I got my stock pipes with the crossover pipe, which helps with the back pressure. So it allows me to get a little bit more low end torque out of it. And I like it. It sounds good too, so I mean, I can't complain. Get plenty out of it. It gets up and goes. I'm a little sketched right now because I was working whenever I was putting the pipes on. I had the clamps to hold the heat shields on, which I put back on because I was running it without the heat shields, which it looked all cool, you know, having the bluish gold and all that on it. But yeah, I don't feel like burning my boots. So yeah, I put the heat shields back on, and I had to spray a little bit of WD-40 on the screws on the clamps. So whenever I cranked the bike, it kind of smoked a little. I didn't know what it was. I was worried at first. I'm like, holy shit, my bike's smoking. But a little info on why I decided to change them today. Yesterday I changed out my head breather bolts. And if you don't know what head breather bolts are, I'll show you a picture of them right here. Head breather bolts are the bolts that help your engine breathe. Most motorcycles, well actually pretty much all motorcycles, vent their heads into the air cleaner. And that's no different with Harley Davidson. They do the same thing. You stay right there, old man. Well, they vent into the air cleaner, and there's usually, I don't know if you notice on Hondas and stuff like that, there's like a little clear yellowish looking nipple on the bottom that looks like it's been clamped and burned together. It looks like it used to be something that it's hooked up there, so you're kind of like, what the hell is this? Something used to be hooked up here. No, that's not what nothing used to be hooked up there. It's made to catch the oil. So that's a common misconception when people see Harleys with oil leaks. It's not really an oil leak, unless it's coming from like the case or something like that. But it's the head breather bolts. It's where the blow-by is, basically where your engine can breathe, because if it can't breathe and you don't have anything to relieve that pressure, your engine's going to explode. So those those go into the air cleaner and, you know, into your air filter and recirculates the oil, blah blah blah, the vapor, all this good shit, but there's always some left behind. Well, on mine I put some that go straight down to the atmosphere because I have this TC Brothers air cleaner here. So my bolts, my breather head bolts, go straight out into the atmosphere. It's like a screen, a filter, and another screen. Or like a piece of foam filter, something like that. That way it can just, you know, just right out into the atmosphere. Well, I got tired of, you know, the blow-by. Obviously you're going to have some blow-by, especially at higher RPMs. And it gets a little bit on the side of the bike. Well, I got tired of cleaning that. So I decided to put my little horseshoe that came on with the Screaming Eagle kit that when I first got the bike. The little horseshoe that goes from one to the other, and then it has a pipe that runs out the bottom of it. So whenever I'm stopped, after I get done with the ride, you know, whatever oil went through the blow-by through that hose just drips onto the ground. It's usually 1 or 2 drops. So it looks like I have a leak, but I do not have a leak. So that's where a good majority of the Harleys, you know, little leaks on the ground come from. Yeah, but as I was saying, I changed mine back out. And when I did, the carburetor kind of, it moves around a little bit because that's what's holding the carburetor on, is the bracket that holds my air filter on. But my carburetor apparently wiggled around some and caused the rubber boot where it connects to the manifold to kind of double seal, I guess you could say. It's a seal that's like this. Like, this is the seal here. That's exactly the way it's shaped. It's got like, it's basically like two seals together, but it's attached to the top. You know what I'm trying to say. And it goes around the manifold. Well, one part didn't go around the manifold, and plus my seal has a little crack in it anyway, so I got to order a new one, so it's kind of good that I noticed it. But anyway, apparently I didn't hook it up right. And this morning, I get on the bike to go to work, try to crank it, and the rev limiter kicks on. As soon as I crank it up, I mean, it hits like freaking 5,000, 5,500, something like that RPMs. It's like, wow! And I was like, holy shit. So I just thought it was cold because it was like 50 degrees this morning, like 45, 50 degrees. So I just thought, oh, okay, my bike's just cold. My wife even opened the door. She's like, oh, your baby's cold. She doesn't like that. But that's not what it was. I tried it again, and it was really low idle. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I just, hop in the cage. I go to work, and I get to thinking about it throughout the day, and I'm like, that must be what it was. So, throughout the day at work, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it is. So I'm going to check that when I get home. Well, I get home today, and lo and behold, that's exactly what it was. So at first I thought it was where I changed my breather bolts over, but changing the breather bolts over is not going to change the runnability of the bike. It's just going to make it to where you blow a seal when you try to ride it. It's going to run like normal, but it's not going to run very long. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling on here, just driving around, riding around for you motorcycle PC people. But I'm going to ride down the road right here and go to my little spot at the cemetery, and we're going to check the idle and the air mixture screw.